I see you sit with your sister and I feel the great presence of God. For some people, it's the language of life. I look at the sunset and I feel alive and feel the presence of God. I feel the presence of life itself. Whatever language is your language, when you use it, you say this is real, this exists. If it's named, it's real, and it's then factored into the map of reality. A practice of transcendence, of direct connection, allowing your child to sit by your side as you pray out loud, inviting the child to finish the prayer. I know a woman whose father meditated. That was his form of connection. And every day she'd come home from high school, walk way out of her way to look into the room where she knew she could find him meditating, and she'd look at him. And he'd say, "Would you like to join me?" And every day she'd look in and say, "No, thanks." She saw him. Okay? This went on for years until the end of senior year when she sat by his side. And for a few months would sit by his side and started to meditate. She went off to college, no more meditation. Then somewhere, sophomore year, hit the depths of sophomore slump. And in that time of void and ennui, depression, she had somewhere to go to reconnect. And she went back to her practice that she'd witnessed for years in her father and found her way back to the transcendent. So when we share our practice as parents, when we openly share our practice, the child always has a way back. Which leads to the most important, as far as all the science goes, the most important thing a parent can do next to our pure, unconditional love is to be transparent about our own spiritual life. Today I felt edgy, and I'm sorry. I feel like I was remote and not here for you and your brother, and I want to apologize to you. And you know what? I also want to apologize to God, because I feel like today was a gift and I squandered it. Can we reboot? Will you join me while I say a prayer? Will you join me while I open up my heart? Will you join me for a walk in nature? Whatever is your way back, to bring the child along through your direct experience. They will remember that forever. Forever. And I share in the spiritual child a time that my mother was profoundly devout, spiritual and religious. My father had his natural spirituality and was quite a skeptic. And yet, the week his own mother died, my grandmother, he sat me down and he said, "Last night I had a dream." And to this day, it moves me that he shared that, as raw and real and new as that was. I had a dream. And we sat down and he told me the details of his dream. He said, "Grandma Ellie was walking by my side. We were walking by Grand Avenue, the street we had walked so many times. And whereas Grandma loved to dress up in beautiful clothes, she had a very average, ordinary, everyday gray suit. And I took it to mean that every day she would walk by my side from now on and forever." He was a skeptic, and yet as an experience, transparent into his heart, that was whole and memorable. It's been decades. That is riveting to our children, and it says that that level of reality is real and our go-to place in good times and in hard times. That is the bedrock. Okay, live spirituality. I talk about that, our living spiritual values. So when we do these things, we embody spiritual life. The preponderance of science says that if a child picks up a book on spirituality in adolescence or in young adulthood, that is about 15-20% protective against depression. But if a child learns from you spiritual life, values, a way of connecting, as a parent, that is 80% protective against depression. There are deep seeds and deep roots to the formation of the spiritual core through you passing the torch. And if that torch is passed from grandparent to parent to child, it is 90% protective against depression. The intergenerational transmission of spiritual life, 90% protected against depression. Given all the mess of social science, that is the same thing. The intergenerational spiritual life is a way of life that is antithetical to depression. So I invite you into discussion, and I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you very much.